So welcome back to my channel again. This is Prof. Wen, isang doctor professor. And now I'm going to teach you or to give you the lesson regarding the series 2 of the blood vessels. Go to the pulmonary arteries. So the pulmonary arteries also it carries the oxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. So ayan. Pulmonary artery is the larger than the left and runs horizontally behind the aorta. So, ayan. So, before the blood will enter into the lungs, so it will pass to the pulmonary artery. So, in the lungs, pulmonary arteries branch into arterioles and then into network of pulmonary capillaries. This is where the gas exchange the oxygen and for carbon dioxide begins. So that's your pulmonary arteries. So pulmonary arteries, the blood from the right ventricle will go to the lungs via the pulmonary arteries. Blood from the lungs will go to the pulmonary veins, then to the left atrium. Okay, so we have to take it into consideration or take note that the pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood back to the heart's left atrium for future circulation throughout the body. So remember that the pulmonary veins are the only veins in the body that carry oxygenated blood. Okay, and then capillary networks. So these capillaries are tiny vessels that forms network known as the capillary beds. It's weaving to surround individual cells. Okay, and the cells of the alveoli collect carbon dioxide from the blood in the capillaries and allow for oxygen to replace it. So here, the number of capillaries in a given body tissue varies based on the tissue metabolic needs. You have the pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery. So you have the pulmonary capillary bed and the alveolar sac. Okay, your pulmonary artery, the superior and inferior vena cava empty the oxygenated blood into the right atrium, and this blood then empties into the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Now, when the right ventricle contracts, what happened is it squeezes the blood out to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. So, ayan, the blood that comes from the right ventricle will go to the lungs by way of the pulmonary artery. So, that's the functions of the pulmonary artery. Just take a look at it. See, di ba? We have said that the blood from the lungs, once the blood reaches in the lungs, so when the blood out to the lungs, it will lodge to the pulmonary vein, and that's the time the blood already oxygenated. We can consider that oxygenated because it passes through the lungs. And then from the pulmonary vein, it will go to the left atrium. And then from the left atrium also, it will pass to the mitral valve into the left ventricle. So what happened then? Okay, when the left ventricle contracts, it sends naman. So once the LV or left ventricle contract, what happened then is it sends the oxygenated blood out through the aorta. So, ayan. Kaya the heart beats about 1,500 times a day and pumps around 2,000 gallons of blood. What happened then to the cardiac veins? So, meaning, in cardiac veins, the muscle tissue of the myocardium need oxygen to keep the heart pumping. So, the blood circulates even within the heart itself. So, the veins actually in the heart what they carry is what? It is still in the right atrium, so it carries the oxygenated blood. And then the anterior cardiac veins empty directly into the right atrium. Okay, the large, middle, and small cardiac veins are connected to the posterior brain of the left ventricle and the right atrium by the coronary sinus. So actually this coronary sinus, this is the largest vein inside the heart and plays a key role in procedure, so such as left ventricular pacing or implanting the pacemaker to stimulate the left ventricle. So that's the function. So the right coronary artery or the right and left coronary arteries originate at the base of the aorta. Then see the right coronary artery, what it supplies is the oxygenated blood to the right atrium portion of both ventricles and portion of the conducting system of the heart, including the SA node and the AV node. Okay, then for the left ventricle, left atrium, and interventricular septum, these are all supplied by the what? These are all supplied with the blood by the left coronary artery, and it divides into the anterior interventricular artery and the circumflex artery. Now, when it comes to the circumflex artery naman, it supplies blood to the left atrium and to the anterior interventricular artery is the main supplier of blood to the interventricular septum. So, ayan. That's the picture. End up my lesson regarding the cardiovascular system blood vessels. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you are the first timer, and please press the bell so that you will be notified for my next vlog. So thank you very much and have a great day.